Okay, kids, this is the last video, promise. But I wanted to show you one final way to build body parts. And so I showed you in the last video how to do a slab and how to attach slabs to your Pinch Pop Monster using the score, slip, stick, and smooth method. So we'll be practicing this every time you attach a body part. You've got to do these 4 steps. But this time, instead of doing a slab, I thought I would show you guys how to do a coil. Coils are great for making long snake-like shapes. So here's how it goes. This is the coil. Again, I've got my clay already wedged. I'm just gonna take about half of this because that's plenty for a coil. And I'm gonna start by rolling the clay between my 2 hands. You guys have probably done this before. If you've ever played with Play-Doh, you've probably had the opportunity to make some coils. So I'm gonna start with a shape that's kind of rounded like this, and then standing over it, I'm going to roll the clay back and forth. I am using the palms of my hands and applying pressure as I do this, but I'm not pressing too hard. I'm pressing pretty gently, actually. You may find that working on top of the canvas is kind of tricky. So one of the things that I'll do quite often is I'll roll the canvas out of the way and I'll work directly on the surface of the table. You can see it's starting to get a little bit longer. Building a coil takes time. If it's feeling a little lumpy to you, don't worry about that. Just keep gently rocking it back and forth. Sorry about the shaking. My setup here is a little funky for videotaping. You can see it's starting to get a little bit longer. Applying pressure at one end will help it to taper. So if you want it to get like skinnier at one end, you can press down on that end. You can see mine's starting to get kind of dried out. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that. Coils are a little slippery. So you might have to add water and then kind of dry off your surface to get it not to slide around. You can see that's looking a lot better, a lot smoother. This might be just a bit too much clay, so you can always cut off clay that you don't need any excess. And then just continue rolling. Now I like to put horns on my monsters a lot. So remember, I'm aiming for about pinky thick. I don't want to go any thinner than that. That's going to be too delicate. So I'm going to just do one horn here, and he'll have a horn maybe coming up kind of like this. And then to do the other horn, I'm going to do the same thing. This one needs to be rolled out a little bit more so they match. So putting them side by side, I'm checking for the same thickness. And then I'm just going to kind of tap it on the table here to flatten it, and then kind of reshape the horn with a little bit of water. This will be really helpful, especially if your clay is drying out on you. You just want to add a little bit more water to it so it's not drying out, and that'll also help you to kind of shape it. So it looks like a good kind of horn shape. And I'll do the same to this one. This will help to keep it from cracking when you bend it, right? So if things start to get too dried out, then they start to crack. These could be tentacles. They could be all sorts of things, right? So you decide what body parts you want to build. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe they're like antenna or feelers. Maybe it's like a cross between a fish and a butterfly or dragonfly or something, right? Now remember the process for attaching. We score. We score the area we're going to attach to. We score the clay. that we are attaching onto the pinch pot. We make sure that those areas are both wet. And then we attach and we blend. Now I used a spoon last time for this. I showed you guys how to use a spoon, but I really like this little wooden blending tool, or like I said, you could use a popsicle stick. You'll find something, I'm sure, at home that will work for blending. I'm gonna go all the way around that horn. You can see I even went around this side. And I'm blending that into place. And then I've got to clean it up, right? So you can use your sponge for that. You can just get your finger wet and kind of work on smoothing. Support it from the inside of the project. You can see that is now attached. I could even change the shape of it. Maybe it's more of a hook-like shape, right? So I can manipulate it and change it once it's on there. Kind of play around with the form a little bit more. I do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to add a little bit of water, stick it on. So I just scored, slipped, and now I've stuck, and finally I am smoothing. All the way around. I'm going to take my sponge, blend and smooth. You got to watch out for these areas of attachment. If it's too thin down here, it'll just break. So it's better to have a thicker base for horns, for arms. Maybe these are arms. Maybe it's the handle of a cup, right? You can see the little horns here on this one. But you do want to make sure your attachments are really, really secure and that you've gone through those 4 steps. Score, slip, stick, and smooth. So I've got a couple pieces there. And then finally, if you wanted to do eyeballs, super easy. I'm just going to take a chunk of that coil and roll it into a ball. Like that. This could be an eye up here on the head, or maybe this creature has eyes inside of its mouth. Maybe its eyes are on the back, right? Find an interesting place. Maybe the eye is up here. That'd be really tricky to attach that to, but that could look really cool. You can put the eyes wherever you want, and again, eyes don't even have to be circular like this, but that's kind of a traditional eye form. So I'm going to go ahead and score, add a little bit of water for my slip, going to stick. The eyes are probably one of the trickier things to smooth because you have to get underneath them. So I'm just going to go right around the base of the eye, all the way. You might want to even put your eyes on first if they're in kind of a tricky spot. It's kind of hard for me to get down behind the eye and the fin there, and even next to this horn here. So it's going to look a little rough at first, right? But that's where I'm going to go in now with my finger and smooth all that rough stuff out. If there's an area you can't get to, you could also use a paintbrush. Sometimes getting in there with a paintbrush could be really helpful in those areas that are hard to reach. So if you have a paintbrush at home, you could use that. Maybe this touches the eye. Maybe that's part of the actual eye shape. That could be kind of interesting. And then if you want to make like an eyeball, you could build another round ball, or you could just take even the back of a paintbrush, or maybe you have a skewer laying around at home, and you could pop a little eyeball in there. You can see it's starting to come together now. I would probably add a tongue to this, maybe some teeth. A garlic press can be quite fun. If you have a garlic press at home, you can actually squeeze clay through the garlic press and create hair, which is really quite fun to try. So if you have a garlic press, you might want to try that. Get creative with your tools at home, and just remember, always score, slip, stick, and smooth when you attach. Now, if you guys are done with your project and you've finished building it, you don't want to let this sit out and dry because it needs to come back to school still somewhat wet. What you'll want to do is put it back into the bag that it came from. Oh, and one last thing too, you can create textures before you put it in the bag and before you're finished. There's lots of different ways to do this. You could create textures with a popsicle stick. So I'm creating kind of like a scale texture there. That's kind of the same thing that you see here. You could create, textures by doing polka dots. We're pressing the textures in. You will want to cover at least 70% of your project with textures before you are finished with it. So find some interesting objects at home that you can press into the surface. Legos, Allen wrenches can be really interesting. Noodles, penne pasta creates a cool texture. Try some different things out. Even this knife, I could kind of scrape lines into the surface to create a texture that way too. So there's lots of different ways. When you're done, project goes back in the bag. Now you do have to do this rather carefully, but it can be done. Just be careful not to smash your body parts. I usually just kind of leave a little air pocket around the project, and then I'll twist the bag, and then I just wrap a rubber band around it. And once it's completely built, you could bring it back to school, and I'll let it dry out on the rack, and we'll get it in the kiln for you. So check Canvas. There are specific instructions for how many body parts you have to build and put on, and how many textures. Specifically look at the advanced criteria. If you have any questions, send me an email, let me know. You can send me photos of your project in progress. I would love to see how things are going, and then I can give you feedback. I hope these videos were helpful. I know it's hard not being here at school for this, but we do what we can. So have some fun with the clay and stay in touch and stay safe. See you later.